Today we're taking a look at the Indiana Pacers vs Los Angeles Clippers match, which is happening on Tuesday, April 13, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. It's a rare TNT appearance tonight for the Indiana Pacers when they face the Los Angeles Clippers on Tuesday night. The Clippers won at home in the first matchup between these teams, grabbing a 10-point lead in the first quarter and nearly doubling Indiana up in the third to coast to a huge 33-point victory. Malcolm Brogdon had a miserable night in that one, shooting 7 of 21 from the field. The Pacers were short-handed with 3 expected starters out, while only Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis were in the lineup. Unfortunately, the Pacers aren't much healthier this time around. Miles Turner is out with an ankle injury, so he'll miss both Clippers matchups this season. TJ Warren is out as well as he has been all season. Indiana does have Caris LeVert healthy now, but it's still undermanned. The Clippers are missing a couple starters with both Patrick Beverley and Serge Ibaka sidelined. It looks like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy, though you never know with those two, especially since this is the first night of a back-to-back for both teams, and either superstar has sometimes sat out games like this. The Indiana Pacers are making a push for the playoffs as they have won 3 straight games. But that streak will be seriously challenged Tuesday as they host the LA Clippers. The Clippers come in with a record of 37-18 and they have won 5 straight. The Pacers are 25th, 27th, and 9th in the Eastern Conference. The Clippers beat the Pacers 129-1996 back on January 17th in LA. Can the Pacers give them a game this time around? So here's my first betting suggestion for that game. The LA Clippers have won 5 straight games to improve to 37-18, which places them 3rd in the Western Conference. They are 4 games behind the first-place Utah Jazz. They are coming off a 131-124 win over the Detroit Pistons on Sunday. The Clippers shot a blistering 62% from the floor and made 15 of 26 from three-point range. So far, it looks like Rajon Rondo should be a nice addition to the team. He's played 68 minutes off the bench in 4 appearances and has already racked up 19 assists in that time. That's 1 dime every 3.6 minutes on the court. That's double-digit assists per 36 minutes, and it's added some much-needed playmaking to the team. The truth is that the rest of the Clippers' profile doesn't stand out that much. They are just fine on 2-point shots and ranked 27th in free throw rate and around the middle of the league in 3-point attempts. The defensive profile is mostly fine too, helped out by LA's slow pace and the fact that the Clippers are so efficient scoring the rock that the team gets to play half-court defense so much of the time. With LA, as it is all season, it really just comes down to the same thing. The Clippers are hitting more shots than anyone else, and it turns out that works. So how many points will Paul George score? My betting advice for that is to pick under 26.5. Now for my second betting suggestion for that game. The Pacers have had a rocky season marred by injuries and illnesses, but they have won 3 straight and 4 of their last 5 to get back in contention. They are now 25-27 on the season and are 9th in the Eastern Conference, just a game behind the New York Knicks. The Pacers are coming off a 132-125 win over the Grizzlies on Sunday. Sabonis is the hub of the offense with 19.8 points, 11.5 rebounds and 6.1 assists per game, and he'll continue to be even more central with Turner out, no pun intended. Sabonis will start at center with Edmond Sumner has been starting in Turner's place while Indiana plays smaller. The Pacers have been a poor rebounding team this season, and that is only exacerbated with Turner out. The relative strength of this team has been its defense, and it should come as no real surprise to find out Indiana has been far worse on defense with Turner out. The Pacers have won their last 3 without Turner, but they lost their first 3 Turner-less games by a total of 72 points, including 1 against these Clippers. One real advantage Indiana has over its opponents has been in the turnover battle. The Pacers don't turn it over often, and they rank 4th in the NBA in steals and 1st in blocks per game. But who leads the team in forcing turnovers? Why, Turner, of course. Indiana's offense is pretty average, and they're losing possessions on the glass, so winning that turnover battle was a key edge. The Pacers allow 112.0 PPG with Turner in the lineup. They've given up 126.8 points per game in 6 games without him, with at least 124 points allowed in 5 of the 6. It's one thing to give up that many points to the Clippers, Bucks, and Mavericks, but it's another thing entirely to allow 125 to the Grizzlies and 137 to the Timberwolves. How many points will Malcolm Brogdon score? My betting advice is to pick over 18.5 points. Now for my third betting suggestion for that game. The Clippers sit at 37-18 on the season, and LA entered the week with the number 2 net rating in the NBA at plus 7.1, per Basketball Reference. That's a pretty impressive mark, considering that this team really hasn't been whole very often this season. Reggie Jackson and Ivica Zubac have been starting with Beverley and Ibaka out, and the Clippers' best starting 5 has not played together since February. Their best 5, Beverley, Ibaka, Leonard, George, and Nicholas Batum, have only played 16 games together all year. With the team constantly shuffling pieces, it's all the more impressive to keep such strong overall team metrics. The Clippers have won 5 straight and 11 of their last 13, so things are trending in the right direction, despite the missing pieces. And it's still mostly because of the lights-out shooting, as it has been all year. LA has the number 1 offensive rating in the NBA, per Basketball Reference. The Clippers lead the league in both three-point percentage, 42.1%, and free throw percentage, 83.9%. Led by Leonard and George, the team has lit up the Nets all season long. Marcus Morris had himself a game pouring in 33 points with 6 3-pointers. Paul George added 32 points and 9 assists, while Nicholas Batum had 14 points and 9 assists. Ivica Zubac added 13 points and 10 assists. The Clippers played without Kawhi Leonard, but it's nothing serious. He is scheduled to play Tuesday versus the Pacers. Serge Ibaka and Patrick Beverley remain out for the Clippers. How many points will Reggie Jackson score? My betting advice for that is over 13.5 points. Now here is my 4th betting suggestion for that game. The Pacers are 25-27, and they are scrapping. Indiana is fighting to stay on the right side of the Eastern Conference playoff hunt, and the Pacers just can't get healthy and stay that way this year. Warren never played a minute all year, which means Indiana never got to see its presumed starting 5 this season. LeVert is finally healthy now, and it's great to see him back on the basketball court, but he hasn't really found his shooting touch yet in Indiana. LeVert is under 52% true shooting with the Pacers and under 30% behind the arc, and it feels like he's still trying to figure out his role with Indiana as he shares the ball with more options than he typically played with in past Brooklyn seasons. Malcolm Brogdon leads the Pacers in scoring this season at 21.2 points per game, but it feels like he's playing in an outsized role. Brogdon's three-point percentage has finally ticked back above 40%, but too often it feels like this offense comes down to Brogdon forcing up a tough shot at the end of a shot clock or game. Sabonis is the hub of the offense with 19.8 points, 11.5 rebounds and 6.1 assists per game, and he'll continue to be even more central with Turner out, no pun intended. Sabonis will start at center with Edmund Sumner has been starting in Turner's place while Indiana plays smaller. The Pacers shot 52% from the floor and made 13 three-pointers. Caris LeVert had his best game as a Pacer, dropping 34 points. Malcolm Brogdon had a big game as well, scoring 29 points with 9 rebounds and 11 assists. Domantas Sabonis added 18 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. Doug McDermott added 13 points off the bench. Miles Turner did not play and is questionable for Tuesday's game. How many three-pointers will Domantas Sabonis record? My betting advice for that is over 0.5. Now for my 5th betting suggestion for that game. Even with the Indiana Pacers coming off a strong week and Kawhi being out for this contest, I'm still not sold on this club being all that trustworthy. The Pacers have burned me time and time again this season, and they actually lose at home by an average of 1.5 points. The Los Angeles Clippers are one of the hotter teams in the league, and they're used to playing without one of their best players. The Clippers embarrassed the Pacers when they played back in January in LA. The Pacers are playing a little better now and have some key pieces back in place, but there are a couple of concerns in the matchup with the Clippers. The Pacers' defense has not been great this year, ranking 20th in points allowed, and they face the best three-point shooting team in the NBA. They have also not been a great rebounding team, ranking 29th in the league in that category, while the Clippers are 4th. The Clippers are 2-5 ATS in their last 7 games against a team with a losing record, 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games following a win, and 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games overall. The Pacers are 7-19 ATS in their last 26 home games, 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games against a team with a winning record, and 7-16 ATS in their last 23 games overall. Head-to-head, the under is 14-3 in the last 17 meetings in Indiana. My 5th betting advice for that game is to pick Los Angeles Clippers -2. And now my 6th and final betting suggestion for that game. The Los Angeles Clippers look for a win after winning 11 of their last 13 games. The Los Angeles Clippers are averaging 115.1 points on 48.6% shooting and allowing 108.3 points on 46.7% shooting. Kawhi Leonard is averaging 26 points and 6.6 rebounds, while Paul George is averaging 23 points and 6.2 rebounds. Marcus Morris Sr. is the 3rd double-digit scorer, and Serge Ibaka is grabbing 6.7 rebounds. The Los Angeles Clippers are shooting 42.1% from beyond the arc and 83.9% from the free throw line. The Los Angeles Clippers are allowing 36.2% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.1 rebounds per game. Our Matt Moore has Turner second on his Defensive Player of the Year ballot behind Ben Simmons and ahead of Rudy Gobert thus far, and it's easy to see why when you consider how poorly the Pacers have played without Turner. 5 of 6 Pacers games without Turner have gone over the total this season, and by an absurd average of more than 18 points per game per Killer Sports. The one under missed by just half a point too, so Turner-less overs could be 6-0 if you got the line at the right number. 4 of those 5 overs covered by at least 16 points. The Pacers' defense simply isn't the same without Turner, and it feels like the books aren't giving his absence enough credit. So what do you get when you take a depleted defense and put them up against the number 1 offense in the league? The Indiana Pacers are starting to heat up now with 4 wins in their last 5 outings, and they will be aiming for a 4th straight win after taking down the Grizzlies in a 132-125 road win on Sunday. Karis LeVert led the team with 34 points on 14 of 20 shooting. Malcolm Brogdon added 29 points with 9 rebounds and 11 assists, while Domantas Sabonis chipped in with 18 points, 15 rebounds and 9 assists. As a team, the Pacers shot 52% from the field and 13 of 37 from the three-point line as they set the tone with 45 points in the first quarter and cruised the rest of the way in a game where they never trailed. My 6th betting advice for that game is to pick over 229. And here are some stats and trends. Clippers are 6-1 ATS in their last 7 when their opponent allows 100 points or more in their previous game. Clippers are 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games following a straight-up win. Clippers are 8-2 ATS in their last 10 when their opponent scores 100 points or more in their previous game. Pacers are 0-4 ATS in their last 4 games following an ATS win. Pacers are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 games versus a team with a winning percent above .600. Pacers are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 home games versus a team with a winning road record. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.